Well, first night in the car, it worked pretty well, to be honest. Definitely don't try this at home. Boiling a jet boil in your car, basically on your bed. Just the entrance to the Botanic Gardens. Obviously I'm not allowed to film from a moving vehicle on a phone, so just have to stop and give the odd video view. It's about 7:45 in the morning at the moment. Looking west along the Undercliff Drive, coming into St Lawrence. This is St Lawrence by Bank End Farm, Old Bank End Farm, I think. It's one of my favourite little spots in the Undercliff along Wolverton Road in St Lawrence. It's a very loud woodpecker. That may be a green woodpecker, maybe. This is rye bees up here, and there seem to be bees on it. There's a robin. Is this rye bees? Anyone? Maybe not. Certainly one bee. Well, it's 1:05 PM and unfortunately the rain has set in after a dry morning, and of course my plan was to leave the rebuilding the bed until this afternoon, but I can't drag all this stuff out when it's raining like this, so hopefully it will clear some point this afternoon and I'll be able to rebuild the bed frame from the prototype bodged version I currently have to something that is a bit more level. It was very comfortable last night, believe it or not, and it was certainly warmer than the van because it's a much smaller space. But anyway, I'm just going to sit here for a while and wait for the rain to clear. Don't try this at home, people. Boiling your oat milk for a cup of coffee on a jet boil, sat in a tub on a very uneven, loose, spongy bed with lots of combustible material around. At least I've got the window open, so I'm not gassing myself, but I will be designing a proper cooking area down there somewhere eventually when I get down and can get some timber from Trago, I think. Just giving the raven some sausage roll. Can't really see him through that. Through the windscreen. Hold on, let me poke you out the window. I'm not going out because it's raining, although I've just given him some. Hopefully you would have seen him there. What I think is going on is that this is the male, and I think the female may already be on a nest, probably with eggs, so she's not leaving. So I think he's stocking up with food down here in Wheelers, down here on Ventnor Beach, and then he goes off west to Steep Hill Cove, which is where the nest is, and basically feeds the female, who just stays on the nest for I'm sure they take turns, but well, I don't know what they do actually. I have to read up on that. Maybe it's just the female that incubates, but I'm pretty sure he's collecting food and putting it in his crop and then taking it to the female on the nest. So hopefully they'll have another clutch of babies to bring over to the bay later in the summer. Might be wrong, it might be too early, but I think that's what's going on, because I'm not seeing the female for weeks. Just see the male all the time now. It's like somebody else wants feeding. So that's clearly not a raven. It's a carrion crow. The little tiny ones like him. See the size difference. The little one is a jackdaw. This medium sized one, that was a carrion crow. And then the raven is the massive one. So there's one carrion crow and a jackdaw there. Kind of think the rain may be about to stop. Still very murky and drizzly and miserable. So yeah, it's about 3:30 p.m. I managed to get some foil on a window there, as you can see. I've cut a bit to shape for the back window. It's quite a large window in the back. And I'll probably cut one to shape for at least one of the, either the driver or the passenger side windows. And to get a bit of privacy overnight. I did sleep well in it last night, I tell you. Despite having two kind of rails that created a very uneven surface underneath the mattress, which I could certainly feel. So I need to adapt that, modify that, which I'll do this afternoon. Hopefully the rain will allow me to do that. It's not looking good at the moment, but we'll see. So it's now 5 p.m. on a very gloomy, relatively uneventful day. Well, a kind of gloomy drizzle has really closed in now, so I think this is it for the day. And looking at the radar, it's going to be potentially more heavy rain tomorrow throughout the day, probably arriving early in the morning and continuing into the evening. So not going to get much done tomorrow, but thankfully I've redone the prototype bed. So where are we? As you can see, I've just bodged it for now, but it all feels pretty firm and I think it's going to be comfortable. Got some blinds up over the side windows at the back, so you can't see through there anymore, which is good. Bit of privacy. The birds have pooped all over me car, which is good of them. And yeah, so I'll give it another test run tonight in terms of sleeping in it. I have to say, last night it was strikingly warmer in there than it is in the van. Obviously the van is a much bigger space than the little C1, so that's presumably what's made the difference, although it was a milder night. So it's all looking good. So yeah, can't really do much more work on the car. Can't really go for a walk because it's all a bit miserable. So I might just have to sign off in a second. Off to Cornwall for a couple of days from tomorrow evening. So I managed to book a ferry, last ferry, was it 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, which means probably just drive down to Exeter tomorrow evening, then stay there overnight and then head further down into Cornwall for the weekend. Should be good. Go to the university and yeah, I'll do some videos of my little road trip. So sorry to disappoint you, we won't have much Ventnor coverage until next week. So for now, have a lovely evening. I'm gonna shut up shop in the van, I think, and in the car, and head for somewhere to get a nice cup of coffee, maybe even a half a pint. We shall see. But anyway, have a lovely evening, and I'll check in again tomorrow.